This story is about Dr. George Parkman, a revered Boston physician and Harvard trustee, and Professor John W. Webster, a Harvard chemistry lecturer whose dire debts led to one of America's first celebrated murders. Their fateful meeting over a £500 loan spiraled into a grisly homicide, unveiling the power of forensic evidence in a trial that riveted a nation. Background and social context. Dr. George Parkman was born February 1917, 90, in Roxbury, Massachusetts, into one of New England's wealthiest families, later funding Harvard's expansion and practical scientific facilities. Renowned for his philanthropy, Parkman established hospital wards and supported emerging medical research, earning respect across Boston's upper crust. Professor John White Webster, born in 1793, was equally esteemed, a Harvard alumnus and respected chemist, known for flamboyant lecture demonstrations and membership in elite societies. Despite Webster's scholarly reputation, he wrestled with financial ruin. Academic salaries failed to cover his lavish lifestyle and mounting debts. By November 1849, Webster owed Parkman over £500, a sum he secretly lamented, confiding in friends that his career was a house of cards waiting to fall. In the hierarchical world of Harvard and Boston society, a public embarrassment over unpaid debts would spell professional and social ruin for Webster. The debt and fateful meeting. On Thursday, November 22, 1849, Dr. Parkman visited Harvard Medical College to collect the overdue debt, insisting that Webster settle at once. Witnesses heard Parkman demand payment from Thomas Petty, the college cashier, and enter Webster's laboratory for a private discussion. Shortly thereafter, Parkman disappeared. Webster claimed they parted amicably, but neighbors reported seeing him burning materials in a furnace that evening. Court testimony later revealed Webster borrowed the keys to the furnace and blocked entry to his lab, actions prosecutors painted as premeditated. A frightened Webster confided to a colleague that "I cannot meet Parkman now. We must settle this matter differently," leaving an ominous echo in the halls. By November 23, concerned associates launched a search, their inquiries leading them straight to Webster's isolated laboratory beneath the medical school. Disappearance and investigation. Janitor Ephraim Littlefield, uneasy at Webster's nocturnal furnace visits, tunneled through a brick partition and discovered charred remains, bones and fleshy fragments piled beside the furnace grate. He alerted Harvard security, prompting a full-scale investigation led by Lieutenant Isaac Ott and Justice of the Peace Edward W. Investigators recovered dismembered limbs, a burnt skull, and Parkman's clothing, all bearing the unmistakable scent of combustion and chemical corrosion. Dental casts taken by Dr. Nathan Cooley matched Parkman's artificial teeth exactly, marking the first use of dental forensics in an American court. Prosecutors also presented bone fragments identified by anatomists as consistent with Parkman's distinct build, dismantling defense claims of accidental death. Media coverage exploded. The Evening Herald ran headlines reading "Startling Intelligence. Body of Dr. Parkman found, murdered and cut up in the medical college." The trial of the century. On March 5, 1850, Professor John White Webster stood trial at Suffolk County Courthouse before Chief Justice Lemuel Shaw in a courtroom illuminated by gaslight and filled with anticipation. Prosecutor John H. Hutchins opened by detailing Dr. George Parkman's benevolence and Webster's cold-blooded betrayal, displaying charred bones and the lab's crucible for jurors to behold. Defense counsel argued that no direct witness saw the fatal blow, suggesting Parkman might have perished accidentally in a lab experiment gone awry. Judge Shaw cautioned, a verdict must be grounded in moral certainty, yet tempered by the doctrine of reasonable doubt, delivering one of America's first recorded instructions on reasonable doubt. After 3 days of harrowing testimony, including Webster's own nephew, recalling his admission of a fatal meeting with Parkman, the jury deliberated 2 hours before returning a unanimous guilty verdict. Spectators wept as Webster was led away, his silk waistcoat in tatters, eyes hollow with the weight of disgrace and impending fate. The trial, which captivated a crowd of 60,000 over its 12-day duration, marked a pivotal moment in American legal history. It was one of the earliest to incorporate forensic evidence, including dental identification, and set precedents in the admissibility of circumstantial evidence and jury instructions. Despite his conviction, some legal scholars have questioned the fairness of the trial, citing potential biases and irregularities in the proceedings. Forensic breakthroughs. Dr. Keep's dental identification of Parkman's jawpiece marked a watershed moment in forensic history. Never before did a man's own teeth condemn him. He later proclaimed, anatomical comparisons of bone fragments by Harvard professors further solidified the identity, leading to influential papers that highlighted the growing importance of scientific testimony in criminal justice. The case also pioneered crime scene protocol cataloging evidence, documenting lab conditions, and preserving samples for jury inspection, setting a new standard for investigations. Dr. John C. Parkman, the victim's son, later donated Parkman's dental molds to Harvard, ensuring a tangible legacy of forensic progress. Public fascination with scientific detection spurred other jurisdictions to adopt similar methods, laying the groundwork for modern forensic pathology. Ephraim Littlefield's daring excavation under sandstone, immortalized in courtroom sketches, became legend and ode to perseverance in the pursuit of truth. The case also served as a critical turning point in the acceptance of forensic evidence, influencing courtrooms and law enforcement across the country. As forensic science advanced, the Parkman case served as a model, echoing the idea that scientific rigor could be just as powerful as eyewitness testimony. Today, the legacy of the case continues to influence not just law, but popular culture's portrayal of crime solving. Conviction, confession, and execution. Sentenced to death on March 30, 1850, Harvard professor John White Webster confessed in June, writing, "I intended no murder until the fatal hour, but my rage mastered me, seeking to mollify public outrage." Despite appeals and rumors of his innocence, Governor George Briggs rejected clemency, citing the weight of incontrovertible evidence. On August 30, 1850, in Leverett Street jail yard, Webster mounted the scaffold serenely, reportedly whispering to witnesses, "May God have mercy on my soul." A crowd of 10,000 witnessed the first Harvard professor to die by state execution, an event captured in daguerreotype photographs still held by the Massachusetts archives. Parkman's widow returned to her charitable work, though she never again walked near Harvard Square. Her grief a silent counterpoint to the city's darker legacy. Webster's Irving professorship remained vacant for years, Harvard reluctant to fill a chair stained by scientific betrayal. The case became a landmark in forensic history, marking the first U.S. trial to use dental evidence to identify a body. Legal scholars still debate the fairness of Webster's trial, with some arguing that the prosecution ignored exculpatory evidence. The mystery surrounding Parkman's death and Webster's execution continues to captivate historians and legal experts alike. Did John Webster truly intend murder, or did a university scandal of debt and pride conspire to taint a respected scholar? This case, etched in bone fragments, dental molds, and courtroom drama, beckons us to ponder the fragile boundary between knowledge and hubris, justice and vengeance.